Hello everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga. This is Soft Flow Yoga. It's a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So for our class today, we are going to be working up toward a pose that's called Humble Warrior. Humble Warrior. Now let me tell you the elements of Humble Warrior, because these are the poses that we'll do to work our way up to that posture. So Humble Warrior is not too different from Warrior 2, because we'll be in a Warrior 2 lunge, so it is a lunge and hip opener, but it also allows for some shoulder opening, so we'll be working our shoulders, and it's also a bowing or a forward fold. So those are the components we'll be working with leading up to Humble Warrior. Here's our props that we'll be using, same things that we often use for our practice, so a nice soft blanket or a towel that you can sit on. It could even be a pillow. And then a couple of yoga blocks or something stackable if you like. I just have my 2 yoga blocks here. You can also use some hardbound books. And then of course I've got my bolster, which I sometimes use at my Shavasana practice. So if you have a bolster or a big cushion or pillow, you're welcome to use that as well. Let's go ahead and begin. As always, we like to start in seated, so do find a comfortable seat. You can cross your legs. I like to sit in half lotus. This is comfortable for me. You can sit in easy pose. That's just kind of crossing at the shins or ankles. You can even extend your legs outward if you'd like to. Even sit up against a wall or in a chair for back support for the first portion of our practice if you need it. And once you've found your comfortable seat, I want to sit up nice and tall, nice lengthened spine. Feel free to close your eyes here if you'd like to take a journey inward. You're also welcome to keep your eyes opened, and if they are open, just gaze forward or downward. I'd like to begin this practice with 5 full and complete breaths. So what does that mean? So as you inhale, not only just filling up your lungs, you want to fill up the entire torso. So an inhale to expand and open up through the lungs and upper chest. Even feel the expansion in the belly. But also, as best as you can, imagine or even feel breath expanding into your back body, upper back, the back region of the lungs, and down near the kidney. So a full expansive breath. And as you pull in breath, you might find that you can only pull in so much. If you can, just pause at the top of the breath and then see if you can just pull in a little bit more, just to feel that full capacity. Just continue until you've done 5 full and complete breaths, or just deeper breaths than you normally take. And then you can just settle into just a soft, steady breaths. Still very aware of your breathing. Noticing how your body is responding to your breath, especially after that expansive breath you just took. Here now with the gentler breaths, you might just feel the breath just steadily rise, just filling up your lungs. And when you exhale, you just want to draw your navel inward towards your spine. Again, inhaling, feeling breath rise, filling up your lungs. And as you exhale, just drawing your belly inward, a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. As you're taking these steady breaths, just check in with your shoulders. Make sure they're relaxed. Maybe your arms are just heavy down by your side. Your hands might be resting in your lap here or on your legs. Take a moment now just to listen to your breath. Just using these very simple ways just to bring yourself to a greater awareness, being fully present and fully connected to self, letting go of the things that are going on outside of you so you can pay attention to the things going on inside of you as we move through our practice together. Still remaining in stillness, just take 3 more breaths. And after those breaths, we'll just add a very simple movement, our moving meditation. So when you're ready, And inhale to extend your arms out across the room, reaching outward and then eventually upward towards the ceiling. Just treat it like a nice stretch. Good. Then exhale and extend your arms out. Feel as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, and let your arms come down to your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching out. Good energy and effort as you reach out and then all the way up. Exhale, reaching out again. Arms floating back down, completing that round of breath. Now go ahead and continue your own breathing and movement at your own pace. You might be moving slower than me or a little faster than me. Either one's correct, just going at your own pace. And just noticing how your body, again, is responding to your breath. This time your arms full of energy, reaching out, floating upward. Energy shooting through your fingertips, imagining you're going to touch the ceiling when you reach high. Noticing your shoulders in motion. And also when your arms are extended upward, feel the lengthening through the sides of your body. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. It's a nice gentle flow here, moving with breath. Take your time, and when you're complete, just let your arms relax again in your lap. Let your shoulders relax. Take a full breath in and out. Let's move into our seated back bend. A mild back bend, starting with the hands behind you, maybe just propped up onto your fingertips. With the arms back here, it draws the shoulders back, allowing the chest to open. So both hands behind you. Lean back a little bit into the fingertips. Tip your chin upward just a tiny bit, not too much. You don't want to strain your neck, but just leaving a little space in the upper chest region. Now we'll take that full breath in. As you do so, press fingertips into the floor. Feel the energy in your arms, your shoulders. Breath rising now to fill up your lungs. It's another expansive breath, but really expanding the front body, upper lungs, right up to the upper edges of your lungs. Then as you exhale, draw your belly in, connecting to your center. And as you're able, perhaps even squeezing shoulder blades together behind you. Again, breathing in, pressing hands into the ground, strong arms, breath rising to fill your lungs, opening your heart space, and exhale to connect to your abdominal lock. That's the light contraction of the abdominal muscles, squeezing shoulder blades together behind you. You might even feel some activation in your upper back. Take 2 more breaths like this. Being aware of this sensation. Some of the other work that we do with our humble warrior will simulate this. Now go ahead and lower your chin so your neck is neutral. You can walk your hands toward yourself as you sit up nice and tall. Arms can just relax in your lap once again, feeling completely relaxed here for a few seconds. Just take another breath or 2. And we can move into our forward fold. We like to do that in Cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. In Sanskrit, that's Baddha Konasana. So the soles of the feet are together here, knees are bent, opening up through the hips. Feel free to use your books or blocks if you like, just an option. Just tuck them underneath the legs. You can even be some soft, small pillows. Some throw pillows perhaps. You can either scoop up your toes, but you want to be able to sit up nice and tall. So at the moment when I scoop up my toes, I'm not sitting up tall. So I can just slide the hands back so I'm holding on to ankles or shins. That way you can sit up nice and tall. So start here. Inhale, get very tall, even feel like you're being lifted into the air. As you exhale, connect to your center, draw belly in, and then hinge forward just a little bit and lead with your heart and chin. Now we start to hinge forward a tiny bit. Here, if you're able, you can scoop up your toes. Another in-breath, lengthening through the spine at this angle. You're going to feel like your torso is rising up out of the pelvis. Exhale, draw belly in. Connecting to center, also a way to support your body as you hinge forward a tiny bit more. Now you don't have to go very far, just holding here perhaps for several breaths, just to allow that opening and release in the inner legs. You can certainly go a little deeper, and you may do so by first tipping the chin downward a little bit and allowing the back to round. That way you might be able to fold a little bit more without compromising the pose or feeling like you're straining the body. You don't want to strain here. So wherever you are, just continue breathing in and out. Eyes can be opened, eyes can be closed. And if you happen to have that rounded back, once again, return to that full and complete breath, or at least feel like you're breathing into your upper back body. Feeling it expand and broaden. 3 more breaths. After your third breath, if you're in that rounded position, start by tipping the chin up a little bit to re-lengthen through the neck, also through the spine. To help hinge your way back up, you can place your hands on the mat and just press, just a way to assist your own body coming back up until you're nice and tall. Even feel like you're still growing tall. Your crown leading up towards the ceiling once you're here. Take a breath. We can move our props to the side. Maneuver yourself to hands and knees. Take your time with this. Here's where you might want to use your blanket or towel for some padding and cushioning for your hands, your wrists, your knees. Let's start in this little tabletop posture. This is our cat and cow flow, starting with cow, which is an inhale and back bend. You'll inhale and just tip your chin up, looking forward, and tip the pelvis back, letting the belly drop, and you create that back bend. The exhale, we just tuck the pelvis under, rounding through the spine, chin towards chest, belly button pulls up towards spine. That's cat. And then reverse it. Feel the pelvis tip back, which creates the back bend. Belly drops, heart opens, tip chin up, exhale, tip chin down, rounding the spine, and just continue that flow. Go at your own pace here. Moving through the whole spine, feeling the pelvis rock forward and back. It's a great exercise, I think, just to keep your spine and your pelvis pretty limber. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. And when you're complete, just pause in this neutral tabletop position. Be sure the neck is long. Your gaze will probably be downward between your thumbs. And if you are using a pad, let's go ahead and crawl off the pad and set it to the side. Come back to hands and knees. Let's get set up for downward facing dog. Let's step the hands forward here just a little bit, and as you do so, spread out your fingers nice and wide so you get a little stretch between each finger. Lean into the hands or press the palms flat into the mat to open the palms and stretch open the hands. As you feel that effort of pressing, feel the strength of the arms as they grow straight here. Tuck your toes. Let's do another cat-cow flow. Starting with cow, it's the inhale. Little back bend right there. Exhale into cat pose. Hold cat, that rounded spine, and then lift your knees off the ground, send your hips into the air. That should automatically re-extend the spine. As the hips float up, continue to feel the hands press firmly into the mat. Now here, as you're able, gently and slowly sink your chest a little deeper between the arms. Not too much, just to open up the shoulders and back and chest a tiny bit more. And then soften that up a little. Now we're going to step forward. Walk the feet perhaps just to the center of your mat, or just until your feet are flat on the ground. Slide your fingers towards your toes. You'll be in a deep forward fold at the moment. Now inhale, slide your hands up to the shins or knees and extend your spine, forming a tabletop with the body. So long and flat, you'll be horizontal, like this. Hold here. Keep a good bend in the knees, more if you need to. Just feel flat like a table. An energy of your hips or tailbone moving to the back end of the room, while the very top of your head is pointing and moving forward. So again, your gaze is downward. Nice balance right here. Half forward fold. Now begin to carefully shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees more. This will tip your chin up, hips down, like you're in a chair. Take your arms out to the side. Drive your heels into the floor to help straighten the legs. Continue to stand tall, reaching into the air with both arms. Exhale, bring your arms down to your side. And here you can just relax. Take a moment to circle the shoulders. Remember, in our humble warrior position, it's going to be a lot of shoulder work. I'm going to give you some variations of the arm posturing in that position. But first, let's just get some shoulder rolls backward, a few times forward. I'm going to even suggest kind of circling the elbows. I just have the elbows kind of glued to my side. I'm just doing a little windmill with the arms like this. And do the same with the wrists, just circling in the wrists, and even wiggle your fingers. Alrighty? That's just to get into the joints, the finger joints, your wrists, elbows, and shoulders. All right, let's do our half salute, where we fold and come right back up, starting in mountain pose. Roll your shoulders back and let the shoulders relax down, arms down by your side, so you have nice posturing in mountain pose. Now here we go. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Even feel free to tip your chin upward, looking up if that doesn't strain your neck. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees as you sit back into an imaginary chair. There's a weight shift into your heels and hips. Slowly fold, bent knees. You don't have to touch your toes, but you might. Your hands might even just land at your shins or ankles. Slide your hands up the legs a bit to extend your spine. There's our flat back. We'll hold here. Bend the knees a little bit more if you need to. Keep extending through the spine. You're going to feel like you're moving in these opposite directions, forward and back. One more breath. Here's our shift of weight into the heels. Bend your knees, tip the heart up, spread your wings, standing tall, reaching into the air to get even taller. That's extended mountain pose. Exhale, let's bring the arms back down by your side. Hold here for a moment. Take a breath or two. Let's do our variation of Warrior One, which is a lunge. So this is also going to prepare us for our humble warrior, since this is a lunge, but a mild lunge. Once again, let's start in mountain pose. Feet rooted into the earth. Roll the shoulders back and down. Good posturing. Now, put a little bit more bend in the knees, some softness in the knees so you don't lock out the knees. Shift your weight into your right foot and really root down or bear down into the floor with the foot. Core engaged, lean forward a little bit, and then start tapping or even sliding the left foot back until it just comes to a natural stop back there. You're going to pivot or turn that left heel and press down, okay? So the whole foot's on the floor behind you, but you shifted the weight back so you're balanced on 2 feet with a little bit of distance between the feet. Place your hands on your hips, your pelvis, push down with the hands, and as you do that, moving downward, get nice and tall in the torso, making a little space in the belt line, so you can actually turn to face mostly forward. Inhale now to extend your arms straight up into the air. Exhale, bend your elbows to 90 degrees, right about here, so it looks like this, like a goal post, okay? Then imagine you're trying to go through a doorway, but your arms are kind of braced against the door jambs there, and you're trying to go forward. So this may feel kind of familiar. When we had the hands behind us, back there seated, I had you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Can you do the same thing here? As the arms kind of pull back, heart forward, can you feel your upper back muscles engage? Now inhale and extend the arms straight up into the air again. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bring your hands to hips. We're going to lean forward now. Put some weight into this front foot. It's okay if the knee kind of goes past the tips of the toes there. Just enough so we can step the left foot forward. Feet are together. Then we'll stand tall. extending the arms into the sky, extended mountain, exhale, arms return to your side. So a very simple, hopefully, warrior one lunge variation. Back to mountain pose with soft knees. We start to shift the weight into left foot, press into the ground, really rooted. Inhale, get nice and tall in the spine. Exhale, pull belly in, lean forward just a little bit. Tapping the right foot back, we're on our toes, heel is lifted. I'm going to turn the foot so the toes are kind of pointing outward. Place the heel on the floor, shifting weight back so you're centered on both feet. Hands on hips. Push pelvis down as you extend through the torso. Get as tall as can be. Space in the belt line so you can turn to face mostly forward. Inhale, extend your arms all the way up. Straight line. Exhale, bend elbows 90 degrees. We'll do that same thing. Draw the shoulders or arms back, feeling the heart and chest move forward. Feel the engagement, if possible, in your upper back muscles. Take a couple breaths here. You might feel this in your shoulders too. Our warrior one variation. Inhale to extend your arms straight up into the sky. Exhale, arms down, hands to hips. Lean forward, lunge forward really, so we can get the weight in the front foot, stepping forward, feet together. Inhale, extend the arms straight up into the air. Extended mountain pose. Exhale, arms come down to your side. Okay, another circle of the shoulders. All right, we're going to stay here for one more thing, getting into shoulders one more time before we go into our sun salutation. Just follow me. We're going to inhale, extend the arms into the air. Exhale, bring the arms down by your side, but as they come down, reach back behind you like this, as if you're reaching to the back corners of your mat. Fingers wide, okay? Reaching, energy through the fingertips. Then imagine you're holding on to something like a box behind you. Okay, the arms are straight. You might even feel your tricep muscles engage, squeezing to center. Okay, check in with shoulders. See if the shoulders can drop and pull back. Maybe even squeezing shoulder blades together, engaging. Hold for a breath or two. All right, now flip the palms so they're facing forward. Let's send the arms forward like you're going to present a package out in front of you, and then up into the air. Let the palms face each other once they reach the sky like that. Then flip the palms down as you bring the arms back down by your side. And then you can relax. So we really just kind of did a little spinning of the arm here, which really affects the shoulders. Okay? Now let's get into our sun salutation. Whenever you're ready, let's inhale to extend the arms into the sky. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, slowly sit back into the imaginary chair, folding, coming down so maybe belly touches the thighs. Let the arms go heavy, reaching down towards the floor. Let your head go heavy. Then inhale, slide your hands up the legs to extend the spine, returning to the flat back. Now on this exhale, we're going to fold. Bend your knees a whole lot more, getting low enough. Take your time with this so you can place your hands on the mat and start walking or stepping both of your feet back to the back end of your mat. Draw a straight line in your body as best as you can so you'll be in plank pose. You can also do plank with knees on the floor like this. Hold for a moment for strength. Just keep pushing into the ground with the hands, strong arms. And then bend the knees a little and send the hips up into the air. You might need to tiptoe forward a little bit to adjust the feet, maybe even your hands, so you feel pretty settled into your downward facing dog. Bend the knees a bit more. As you're able, send the hips higher up and press hands deeply into the floor, but with extra pressure towards your thumbs and index fingers. Feel how strong your arms feel. And then slowly and gently, as we did before, sink your chest between the arms as if you're sending your heart down towards the floor, or even towards your toes if you can see your toes. And then soften that up. You can rest any time if we've been here too long for you. When you're ready, Inhale, lift your right foot and extend your right leg back behind you. It doesn't have to be high, just long and energized. Exhale, bend the right knee that's in the air. You're going to bring the right knee in underneath you towards your chin as you shift your whole upper body forward. Your shoulders will be stacked over the wrists, and then just set the right foot down. Doesn't matter where it lands. And then set the left knee down. So we're just getting some pressure off the hand so we can actually reach back with the right hand, literally pick up the right foot and step it up a little higher. That's just if you couldn't get the foot all the way to the top of the mat. And then we'll relift that left knee, pivot or turn that back foot so the heel's completely on the floor. Shift the weight back. If you can see my hands, I actually step my hands back so I feel my hips pull back to get more pressure in that back foot. You can see there's more distance between the feet as we move into our second version of Warrior One. As I rise to fingertips, I'm extending through the spine. Inhale, hinge from hips, rising up. I'm facing forward, reaching both arms up into the sky. Hold here on the exhale. Here's Warrior One. Let's hold here for a couple breaths. We're going to do another version of this a little bit later. We'll inhale right where we are. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Reaching here. I like to adjust my back foot. At the moment, when I stepped into the pose, I'm just going to relax my arms here. My toes are kind of pointing out forward at this angle, but once I get into the Warrior Two, I like to turn my foot a bit outward. Just check in with how your knee feels. That's going to indicate where the toes point. Okay, you just want to make sure your knee feels nice, okay? Doesn't feel like it's torqued at all. So for me, it's here. All right, right knee and toes are pointing forward, outstretched arms. Here's our Warrior Two. Again, a nice prep for Humble Warrior. Let's take side angle first. We're going to reach out with an angled upper body, rotate the arms, right hand reaching down, left hand reaching into the air. Now, I don't typically go very low in this pose. I like to bring my hand or forearm to the inner thigh, brace it against the leg to help open up through the pelvis while the left hand reaches into the air. You certainly can go lower, but for soft flow, you can stay up high if you'd like. A couple more breaths. We're going to stay in this posture after that second breath, but bring the left hand down and behind you. I'm going to place the back of my hand against my low back, right at the center. And then if you've got some mobility here, just do a few circles, maybe 3 circles with this left shoulder. And then pull it back, opening up through the chest. Hold for another couple breaths. Getting some nice mobility into the shoulders. Let's inhale to re-extend this left arm up into the air. Exhale, carefully turn and fold. Coming down. Hands on the mat, rise up onto tiptoes behind you. We're going to rise up again. Stay here. Stay just like this. But I have a lot of distance between the feet, and I want to narrow that distance. I'm just going to step my left foot forward a little bit. Okay, it just felt like my feet were too far apart. But all 10 toes are pointing forward. That back heel is lifted. But I still have the balance here to rise up to fingertips, extend spine, follow me, hinging your way up. We're coming into high lunge. Now it resembles Warrior One, except that left heel is lifted behind us. Now this takes a little bit more balance. Reach high, lunge low to keep the balance or help with balance. Feel the inner legs squeeze in towards each other. Imagine you have a block between the knees or the thighs that you have to squeeze and hold on to. Follow me. Hinge forward about 45 degrees or less. Bring the arms down and back, reaching back, energy through the fingertips, reaching to the back corners of your mat, kind of like what we did in standing, except we're in a lunge now. Let's do this because we are going to step forward. Let's bring the hands to the thigh right here in front. You can push into the thigh just to give you a little leverage to help step this left foot forward. See if that helped. We're going to stand up nice and tall, reaching into the air. Extended mountain. We're going to keep it moving. Swan dive. Bring the arms down, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair. Take your time. Belly comes to thighs.
Let the arms drop. Let the head relax. Inhale, slide the hands up the legs, re-extending spine. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees a whole lot. Take your time. The back will round low enough until you can bring the hands back down to the floor. And just step as many steps as it takes to get the feet to the back end of your mat. Draw that straight line. Plank pose. Hold here. You can even bring knees to the floor. Let's build some more strength. Also getting some nice strength in the shoulders. With your exhale, next exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the sky. Here's our downward facing dog. Again, you might need to adjust your feet and maybe in your hands. I'm actually turning my hands out just a little bit. Feels better on my wrists. Bend the knees more, lift the hips a little higher, pressure into the floor with the hands, sink the chest a tiny bit, and then soften that up so it takes that pinching feeling out of the shoulders. Now we'll inhale and pick up the left foot, extend the left leg back behind us, reaching with effort. Exhale, bend your left knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest or chin, shifting your whole body forward so your shoulders are over the wrists. Again, setting the left foot down anywhere. Now my left foot, I brought it, it's way back. So I'm just doing that on purpose. So you can see, it doesn't matter where you land that left foot. Then the right knee comes down. We're just going to go get that left foot, pick it up, and place it near the top of the mat or near left hand. Now we can relift that right knee, pivot right heel to the floor. This one we're getting the whole foot on the ground. Stepping the hands back, rising to fingertips, finding balance between the feet, and elongate the torso out over left thigh. We're breaking this down quite a bit. Inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. Exhale, lunge, hold. Here's our warrior one. Okay, we'll be doing warrior one, warrior two, side angle. We're going to return to the high lunge. Here we go, breathe in. Exhale, here we go, turning our torso to the right side of the room. Arms come down to parallel for warrior two. I'm going to do that same adjustment with my back foot because I can feel already the ankle doesn't feel quite right and my knee doesn't feel quite right. So I'm just turning my toes in a different direction. Okay, just check in with how your hip, knee, and ankle feel on that right leg. And that will be your warrior two. Let's take it to side angle. Follow the left arm forward, angled upper body, rotate the arms. Again, I'm not going low at all. Just a slight angle of the upper body is fine for this. If you need more to get more sensation, if you need it today, that's fine. But again, no need to force or push your body to a place where it's uncomfortable or creates pain. Let's go ahead and bring the right arm down and behind you. So the back of your hand is resting at the low back, right in the center. So mobility in the shoulder. Let's circle the shoulder a few times, maybe 3 times. And then hold it back to help open up through the chest, taking a few more breaths. How do the legs feel? We're in this lunge. This is important because as we get into humble warrior, we need strong legs and a sturdy foundation. Let's go ahead and inhale, re-extend the right arm up into the air. We're going to turn and fold, bring the hands down to the floor. Stay here. We're going to rise up onto the tiptoes, heel lifted. Now again, I feel like there's too much distance between my feet, so I'm just kind of stepping my right foot forward a little bit. This feels a little bit better. Do what you need to do. Find the center, rise to fingertips to help extend spine. We're rising to our high lunge. When you're ready, inhale, start to rise, hinging from hips, already squeezing the inner legs towards center line to support the body as you reach into the air to finish. High lunge. Continue hugging to center line. Imagine you're holding onto that ball or a book or a block between the knees or thighs, firing up those leg muscles to help you stay in place. And we're going to hinge forward about 45 degrees or less. I'm dropping the arms, but then reaching back behind like this, reaching to the back corners of my mat. Active arms, straight arms, shoulders rolled back. You might even squeeze shoulder blades together. This could also help stabilize this posture. Notice the strength building up, the fire burning in this left leg. Now we'll bring the hands to the thigh in front so you can actually use that as some leverage, just pressing into the thigh to help you step forward, both feet in front here, standing up as tall as can be. Extended mountain, reaching into the sky. Good. Exhale, arms return to your side. Good. Let's do another circle of the shoulders, forward and back a few times. Go at your own pace. Let's do the little windmill with the elbows. You can even do both directions if you want, like that. And then check in with your wrists and fingers, since we did some work on the hands, just getting into those joints. All right. Let's do that second arm reaching. Okay, but this time we're going to interlace the fingers. I'm going to face this way so you can see this. Here we go. Inhale, reaching into the sky. Exhale, slowly bring the arms down, down and behind you. Now you can start just by reaching to the back corners, right there. Stay here if you need to, or if you're able, interlace your fingers, just like this. Now if the elbows need to stay bent, keep them bent. If you're able, straighten the arms, reaching perhaps towards the floor with the knuckles. Check in with shoulders, maybe roll the shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. Now you might feel a little bit more sensation in the upper back just because of the clasped fingers behind you. Tip chin up a little bit, bend your knees a tiny bit, and tip over like this a little bit. So it feels like you're in chair pose, but we haven't gone too far. Now it's okay if the hands here rest on the back, but if you can, just pull them away, maybe a half an inch or so away from the back. Hold. So we're kind of getting ready for that forward fold sensation. With the fingers folded behind us, this too prepares us for our humble warrior, and that's coming up next. Let's first stand up tall, release the fingers, reach the arms all the way up. Nice release. Exhale, arms return to your side. Again, take the time whenever you need to, just kind of shake out the shoulders. There's a lot of work today of bringing the arms behind us, okay? Check in with the elbows, wrists, and fingers. And then we'll make our way back up to mountain pose. I'm just going to do a quick adjustment of my mat. And we'll flow, and let's work our way to our humble warrior. First, standing in stillness, take a breath. Here we go. Go at your own pace. Inhale, extend your arms out and up. Maybe tip the chin up a tiny bit. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair. Weight shift into your hips and heels. Folding, coming down, let the arms come down. Head gets heavy, there's our forward fold. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs to re-extend the spine, flat back like a table. Exhale, fold, going all the way down. Bend your knees a whole lot. Bring the hands to the floor. I'm going to walk the feet back. Plank pose. Straighten the lines in the body. Hold here for strength. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees a little. Send your hips up into the air. There's our downward facing dog. Adjust the feet, adjust the hands, settle into the pose. A couple breaths here as you're able. More bend in the knees. Send the hips higher. Hands press into the floor. Maybe you'll feel how long the spine and torso are at this point. Here comes the lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Same transition. Exhale, bend the right knee, bring it in underneath you. Shift your weight forward as you're able. Foot lands behind the right hand, or do that same transition we did earlier. We are setting the left heel onto the ground. Step the hands back so you can rise to fingertips. Be sure you have good weight on both feet. Extend through the spine. Inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. Hold for a moment just to arrive in the pose. Inhale, get stronger and longer in the arms. Exhale, turn torso towards the left side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Again, I'm going to adjust this foot. Can you see how I'm turning my foot out? Now, let's get set up for our humble warrior. Stay right where you are because I'm going to turn around. Okay, so you can see what happens to my arms. Inhale, reach out with the arms.
Exhale, bring the arms down behind you. As you're able, interlace your fingers. Now, if you're not going to interlace, you can just reach, okay, with strong, straight arms. I'm going to interlace. Knuckles are reaching towards the floor. Now, I'm basically facing, okay, the side of the room, but you're going to turn your torso a bit towards your right knee. It doesn't have to turn directly towards the right knee. It's going to be more at an angle, okay, maybe like at 10 o'clock. Right here. Alrighty? Then roll the shoulders back. Tip the chin up just a little to expose and open the heart. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, start to fold, hinge forward until your torso perhaps comes down and right at the thigh. And your torso might even touch the thigh. And you can stay just like this. Now keep the neck neutral. Rather than dropping the head or trying to look forward, keep it neutral. Long neck, so you might be looking directly down at the floor. Folded fingers, if they're still folded. It's okay if they're resting on the body, but if you can, maybe just a little lift. An inch or so away from the body. This is our humble warrior. Now it could go lower, but for our soft flow today, we're keeping it here. You're probably feeling some energy and strength and fire in the legs. Let's release the fingers, bring the hands to the floor, press the palms firmly into the ground, rise up onto your tiptoes behind you, the heel is lifted. We're not doing high lunge. We're just going to press hands strongly into the ground to slide the right foot back so we're in plank pose again. Let's rest here. Bring the knees to the floor. As you're able, sit back into hero. This is going to be brief. So we can do a counter stretch for the palms and wrists. I like to do a little soft press or pulse into the mat, okay, with the back of the hand. I'm doing both sides. Let's do something with the arms here too. Actually, let's do it the second time because this is a long time to be in hero. We'll do it the second time. So bring the hands out to the front. Here, tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips into the air. Just a nice slow return to down dog. Let's do the other side. When you're ready, no rush. Inhale, extend the left leg into the air. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting body forward. If the foot is short of the hand, that's okay. Just do the same variation we did earlier, or maybe the foot comes up to the hand. Right heel turns to the floor, step the hands back, rise to fingertips. Balanced on both feet, extended spine. Inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. First warrior, stay here. Inhale again, ready to move. Exhale, opening to your right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. As needed, make adjustments with the feet. There's our warrior 2. Let's get ready for our humble warrior. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, you bring the arms down behind you. Just reach with the hands and fingers, or if you're able, interlace your fingers. Knuckles reach towards the floor. As you're able, maybe roll the shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. Now we're going to turn the torso and heart towards the left knee, maybe at 1 or 2 o'clock, more like 2 o'clock for me. Inhale, we're just going to tip the chin up, fill up the lungs. Exhale, slowly hinge forward. And just come down until maybe the torso touches the thigh. Here is fine. You could go lower, but not necessary. And then folded fingers might rest on the back, or a little lift of the hands. Reaching. Now, I can feel a lot of energy in this front leg. What you could do, I'm just sliding the right foot back a little bit and even trying to put some weight and energy into that back foot so there isn't so much pressure in this front foot and leg. So you can certainly make that adjustment. Let's release the fingers, bring the hands to the floor, rise up onto tiptoes behind you. So we're in this runner's lunge formation. I'm pressing the palms flat into the ground, pressing to straighten the arms so I can slide the left foot back. There's our plank pose. Hold here. Now let's go ahead and return to our knees. Set the knees down. Sit back in hero. You can do the quick press or pulse of the tops of the hands. But just so you don't have to be in this pose too long, you're going to bring the arms out in front. Drop your left arm, lift your right arm so they're like this, okay, and just staggered, and then give yourself a hug. Grab the shoulders, maybe your right elbow's on top, or whatever's on top, remember that, because we're going to switch this. Just a quick one, we're going to do this lying down too. Okay, re-extend the arms, shift, change the arms, give another hug. Same thing, now the other elbow is on top. I'm just reaching around the body for a little hug. Okay, let's go ahead and release. Let's come back up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes and kind of sit back. Just put a little pressure into the toes because you were just sitting on the toes. Okay, and ankles, so just a little counter stretch. I was going to make our way down to the floor here. So once again to hero, sit off to the side, swing the legs around to the front. Okay, grab your blocks. We have to get into our not our camel pose, our bridge pose that we haven't done yet. So make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat. Carefully roll down onto your back. You can hug your knees into chest. And take some movements here. Some circles if that feels good. And then we'll go ahead and set the feet on the ground. Even just lie here for a moment. Let everything soften. Take a breath. Maybe exhale through the mouth so you can feel that softening. Because we're really just telling the body that we're transitioning from more of the active movement, okay, into a more subtle movement. Coming towards the end of our practice. All right, grab your blocks. With a good exhale, press feet into the ground. Lift your hips high enough to slide a block or two if you've got them underneath you or stacked books. High enough so you kind of form this back bend-like position. And then just settle. Hold here. Some deep breaths. I'd even encourage you to take another full and complete breath. So when I say that, that's when we're breathing fully into the chest, belly, upper and lower back regions as best as you can. Just a full breath in. Sip in a little bit more breath at the top. Really expanding that balloon. And then exhale, letting it all go, letting that balloon deflate. Complete release. These deep and full breaths actually are wonderful for helping your immunity, because this expansive breath helps to stimulate the vagus nerve that runs through the entire body, helping to stimulate some really good hormones or neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, and helping to deactivate the sympathetic nervous system and the cortisol release. So we're engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, which stimulates rest and digestion, actually. Or we're staying in our bridge pose. You can stay propped up on the blocks or books if you'd like, and then extend the legs straight up into the air. Now, you have an option of removing the blocks and just lying flat on the ground for this, or replace the blocks with something soft like a cushion. Either way, just extend the legs, maybe straight up at first, and then maybe soften the legs by putting a bend in the knees. And then let's give the feet a bit of a circle here. Circle the ankles in both directions, flex the feet, point, flex, point. And you can even do a little bicycle pedaling, which I like to do. This is all optional, just to get into the joints. Nice to get upside down once in a while. This too can be good for the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. We'll do one more full extension of the legs, then bend your knees, set the feet on the floor, relax, settle.
And then press feet into the ground to lift your hips to remove the blocks or cushion, whatever you've got there. Come back down to the ground. Let's extend the legs out front, arms reach behind you. There is a term for this, and I've heard it called just morning stretch. Reaching in these opposite directions. Now let's just bring the right knee in. Hug the knee in, catch that knee in your hands. Hug it in. And let's do half happy baby pose. Now what you could do is just take that bent knee and just kind of out to the right side. And the leg for me is just resting heavily in my right hand. That can be a hip opener just like that, a nice modified happy baby. Or you could kick that foot up into the air, hold on to the bottom of the foot with the hand. Now if you can't reach it or it feels too intense, then hold on to the shin or knee, ankle, or something like this instead. A couple breaths here just for a gentle release and stretch of the inner right leg. We'll bring it back to center. You can extend the leg back down onto the floor. Pause here for a moment as a nice realignment. And then we'll hug the left knee in, catch it in your hands. Gentle drawing of that knee in. And then half happy baby pose. Same thing, you can modify it by just taking the bent left knee out to the left side. It's just resting heavily in my hand. My elbow's on the floor, so it feels well supported. Or you can kick that foot in the air, grab hold of the ankle or the bottom of the foot, whatever feels right and comfortable and doesn't feel like you're straining. Half happy baby. It will release. Go ahead and re-extend the leg out onto the floor again, realigning. Let's do another hip opener. Bend your knees so your feet are flat on the ground. Bring the legs together so they touch or are close to touching, just closer together. Take the knees out to the side, left side and right side. So we can come to a reclining cobbler's pose. Soles of the feet are touching here. Knees are heavily opened out to the side. You can still use your books, blocks, or pillows to prop the legs here, just in case if they feel too pulled open, they can just rest open right here. Now we're going to stay here for a couple breaths. And you're welcome to keep this leg posture or come out of the posture because we're going to do that same bear hug with the arms. I'm going to go for it now. You can follow me. Extend the arms straight up. Stagger the arms, as we did earlier, and then give yourself a hug. Wrapping. Maybe your hands come to your shoulders. Notice which elbow and arm is closest to your chin. And as you're able, take 1 or 2 full and complete breaths. Full breath in. And because you're hugging, notice what happens as far as the sensation. How everything broadens and expands and affects the arms. Exhale. 1 more. Exhale. Re-extend the arms straight up. Stagger the arms the other way. And again, give yourself another hug. So the opposite arm now is closest to your chin. Grab the shoulders, nice bear hug. Full and complete breaths, 1 or 2. Very nice, very healing breaths. Let's re-extend the arms straight up. And you can bring your arms down to your side, relax for a moment. Let's go ahead and bring the knees together. Hug the knees into chest. We'll go for our twist. We'll start by taking the knees over to the left side. Extend your right arm to the right side. My block is still over here, and this is nice because then my left leg actually is resting on that block.
so the leg isn't touching the floor. That way I don't over-rotate. You can even do or place a block or a cushion or something, a pillow, between the knees for the same effect. So you don't feel like you're going to over-rotate, just in case if your low back or spine is a little sensitive today. Here's nice ways to modify. Always be listening to your body. Great to always have props around. Okay, even in faster moving classes like power yoga, use props, because sometimes we just might need them for that little extra support. Two more breaths. Let's bring the knees back up to center. Pause here to realign. And we'll take the knees to the other side. I'm going to use that block. That's going to come in handy for me today. My left side's a little sensitive. It's been sensitive for the last few days. And so this really is coming in handy. And I'm going to use that block, another block between the legs. See, now here for me, this feels just right. I don't feel that pull or strain in my left side. I'm not sure exactly what I did, but I feel like I may have pulled a few muscles there or strained them. And so just need a little extra support, and this helps just nicely. Why not take 3 more breaths here? Hopefully the body is already beginning to feel relaxed, and we're getting ready to move into our final relaxation pose. So whenever you're ready to move, let's come back up to center. Maybe give yourself one more hug. And extend the legs out front, arms down by your side. Use your props here, if you'd like, just for more support as you need it for your back, your knees, your head. Elevate your legs if you'd like, because sometimes lying flat on your back is not comfortable. You just need a little extra support. So again, use your props. You're welcome to keep your eyes opened, gazing upward, or close your eyes and go back to that inner journey as you did at the beginning of your practice. You might even take one full and complete breath just to help you really settle that exhale, feeling the softness and ease return to the body. Feel free to stay here as long as you need to, even as I end the practice. I'll come up to seated, but you're welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you'd like, especially if you've really found a wonderfully comfortable position. Just want to hold on to this energy, this space, take advantage of it. When it's time to move, once again, just start with breath. Just slow, steady breaths in and out. They could be full and complete breaths, but just energetic breaths, or breaths just to bring energy to the body as you prepare it to move. After your fifth breath, moving in slow motion, carefully roll onto either side of your body, just to a nurturing pose. And then guide your way up to seated. Feel free to sit on something soft. Nicely extended spine. And for the moment, just let your arms and hands relax. And then one last movement together. Inhale and extend your arms out and up, reaching into the air. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold here as you take one more breath in and out. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.